The clock was nearing midnight in Moscow when the phone rang at the Kremlin. On the other end of the line, the unmistakable voice of U.S. President Donald Trump echoed with urgency. "When are we going to end this, Vladimir? When are we going to end this bloodshed, this bloodbath?" The call, which lasted more than 2 hours, seemed promising. Trump, determined to end the conflict devastating Ukraine, used his long-standing relationship with Putin as a diplomatic bridge. If you find this analysis valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth geopolitical insights. That same night, as snow fell over Moscow, Putin listened attentively. His face, as impassive as ever, revealed none of his true intentions. The following morning, Trump optimistically announced on social media, Russia and Ukraine will immediately start negotiations toward a ceasefire and, more importantly, an end to the war. Don't forget to share this video with friends who are interested in international relations. Your support helps our analysis reach a wider audience. But the Kremlin's response came as quickly and coldly as the Russian winter. There are no deadlines in place right now. A veiled rejection that few fully understood. If you're finding value in this breakdown, please hit the like button and consider subscribing for regular updates on this developing situation. What military intelligence analysts detected in the following days revealed the true reason behind Putin's refusal. While talking about peace, the Russian leader had secretly ordered the deployment of thousands of new soldiers to the front line. Men with less than a month of training, thrown like disposable pieces on a bloody chessboard. Share your thoughts on this strategy in the comments below. We value your perspective on these complex issues. The tired eyes of General Jack Keane, former four-star Army general and current chairman of the Institute for the Study of War, watch the intelligence reports with growing concern. He's rejected the temporary ceasefire once again, explained the general, his voice heavy with experience. And why is that? Because he knows full well, if he goes to a ceasefire that stops the killing, and then the pressure is off the administration to make major concessions to him. If you appreciate detailed military analysis, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay updated. Russian casualties had jumped from 30,000 to almost 50,000 soldiers, a number that seemed not to bother the Russian leader. Putin could care less about how many soldiers die, stated Keane, as intelligence reports showed a disturbing pattern. The Russian army was deliberately intensifying the bloodbath, a calculated move to increase pressure on an American president genuinely concerned about human losses. Share this crucial information with others who need to understand the real dynamics of this conflict. The truth began to emerge from the shadows of diplomacy. This wasn't just another political maneuver. It was a cruel and calculated strategy, where lives were sacrificed like pawns in a macabre power game. Subscribe now to follow our ongoing coverage of this critical situation and help us spread this important analysis by sharing the video with your network. The sky over Kyiv dawned red that May morning. In the muddy trenches cutting through eastern Ukraine, exhausted soldiers watched the horizon with eyes that had long since lost the sparkle of youth. Among them was Mikhail, a 19-year-old from Novosibirsk, who just 3 weeks ago was at home with his family. Now, with minimal training and a rifle he barely knew how to use, he represented Putin's new strategy: flood the battlefield with new recruits, regardless of the human cost. If this inside look at the human toll of conflict resonates with you, please subscribe and share this video to raise awareness. They gave us 3 weeks of training and sent us here, Mikhail whispered to his trench companion. Half the guys in my platoon had never fired a rifle before. Support our channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. Your engagement helps us continue bringing these critical stories to light. Putin's bloody strategy began to make sense to Western intelligence analysts. The numbers were staggering: 5,000 people dying every week, as highlighted by President Trump. A deliberately intensified carnage. If you're finding this analysis insightful, please consider leaving a comment with your thoughts and subscribing to our channel. General Keane, analyzing Russian casualty data, identified the pattern. The killing of his own troops have gone from the high 30,000 in 24 to the high 40,000 now, edging on 50,000. And he's increased the targeting of civilians. Don't forget to like and share this video to help others understand the strategic dynamics at play. In a military command center in Moscow, far from public view, high-ranking officers plotted new offensive plans. The orders were clear: maintain pressure increase the intensity of attacks, and use the growing number of casualties as a negotiating tool. Subscribe now for continued coverage of this evolving military situation. The American president genuinely wants to stop the killing, a Russian general explained to his subordinates. But our president is willing to sacrifice as many men as necessary to achieve his objectives. The blood of our soldiers is our bargaining chip. If you value these strategic insights, please like, comment, and share this video with others interested in geopolitical analysis. In a makeshift military hospital near the Ukrainian border, Russian doctors worked tirelessly. Ambulances arrived in a continuous flow, bringing young, mutilated soldiers, many still wearing new uniforms. Dr. Sergei Vasilyev, the unit's chief surgeon, had witnessed previous wars, but never with so many inexperienced soldiers. Hit the subscribe button for more exclusive reporting on the ground realities of this conflict. They're sending boys, practically children, he commented to a nurse while washing blood from his hands after another surgery. And the scariest part is that many arrive with injuries that could have been avoided with basic training. Please share this video to help others understand the human cost of this strategic miscalculation. What few knew was that this escalation of violence was part of a larger plan. Putin had determined that the more intense the bloodbath, the more quickly he could extract significant concessions from the United States. Each body that fell on the battlefield wasn't just a military casualty. It was a piece in a game of psychological pressure against an adversary who valued human life. If these strategic insights are valuable to you, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay informed. Western intelligence analysts began to notice the pattern. In General Keane's words, he has increased the bloodbath and the pressure on us. Putin could care less about how many soldiers die. The president, on the other hand, genuinely wants to stop the killing. Like and share this video to help expose these calculated tactics to a wider audience. As snow melted in the streets of Beijing, a secret meeting was taking place in one of the most private halls of the Great Hall of the People. High-ranking Chinese officials discussed detailed reports on financial transfers to Russia totaling billions of dollars, money that directly fueled the Russian war machine against Ukraine. If you find this exclusive information valuable, please subscribe and share this video with others who need to understand these hidden dynamics. In Washington, President Trump found himself in a complex strategic dilemma. His approach was clear: use economic levers to push for change, avoiding new sanctions against Russia in the hope of an eventual peace deal and possibly a trade agreement in the future. The same strategy was being applied to China, with a 90-day pause on heavier tariffs while observing Chinese behavior. Hit the like button and subscribe if you appreciate this nuanced analysis of economic diplomacy. The president is balancing a porcelain plate on the tip of a needle, commented a White House advisor, speaking on condition of anonymity. He needs to keep communication channels open with Putin, but he also has to deal with the reality that Putin is using this time to intensify the war. Share your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe for more insider perspectives. The New York Post report exposed China's crucial role in financing the Russian war machine, calling on the U.S. to impose secondary sanctions on Beijing. China, facing its own economic problems, continued to support Russia in the shadows, a silent but essential ally for the continuation of the conflict. If this analysis helps your understanding, please consider liking and sharing this video. In the quiet library of the Institute for the Study of War in Washington, General Keane reviewed classified documents on financial transactions between China and Russia. I think it's time. Let's go for these sanctions once and for all and slap these countries who are assisting Russia, he stated with conviction. Go after Russia's oil, gas and uranium industries, and that will have impact on China. Subscribe now for more expert analysis from top military strategists. In a shielded room at the Pentagon, economic intelligence analysts traced complex diagrams showing how Chinese money flowed to Russian defense industries, circumventing existing sanctions through shell companies and obscure transactions. Your support through likes, comments, and shares helps us continue bringing this crucial information to light. The problem is that China is playing a double game, explained a senior analyst. Publicly, they talk about neutrality and peace. Behind the scenes, they're funding Putin's war. If you appreciate these revelations, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay informed. In Moscow, The Russian Minister of Economy met with a Chinese delegation to discuss new trade agreements. The talks were tense, but productive. Both sides knew they were walking a diplomatic tightrope. Consider sharing this video with others interested in the economic aspects of international conflicts. Our Chinese friends understand our position, the minister later commented to his advisors. They know that our success in Ukraine also serves their interests in Taiwan. Subscribe now for continued coverage of these crucial geopolitical developments. General Keane, with decades of military and diplomatic experience, clearly saw what was happening. Our leverage is the economic levers. That's the US's leverage to actually affect change, he explained. I know it will affect the relationship, and that's of concern to the president, but we have an impasse here. We're not making any progress and Putin is increasing the killing. If this strategic perspective resonates with you, please like, comment, and share this analysis. The White House Situation Room was quiet that May afternoon. President Trump, leaning over detailed maps of the Ukrainian conflict, listened attentively to intelligence reports. At his side, national security advisors and veteran diplomats presented options that seemed equally problematic. If you value this inside look at high-level decision-making, please subscribe and share this video. We have two fundamental choices, explained the Secretary of State. Continue with the current diplomatic approach, knowing that Putin is using this time to strengthen his military position, or drastically increase economic pressure, even if it risks completely breaking relations with Moscow. Please leave your thoughts on this dilemma in the comments section below. The dilemma was complex. The president's sincere determination to end the bloodshed clashed with the cold reality of Putin's strategy. Each day of negotiations meant more poorly trained young Russian soldiers sent to die, more Ukrainian civilians under fire, and growing pressure on the American administration to make substantial concessions. Hit the like button and subscribe if you appreciate this balanced analysis. Putin is using our compassion against us, observed General Keane, invited to the meeting due to his experience. He knows we want to stop the killing, so he increases the killing to force us to give in. Share this video to help others understand these sophisticated psychological tactics. In Kyiv, President Zelensky observed the situation with growing anxiety. His forces were bravely resisting, but the human cost was unbearable. In a private video conference with the American president, his message was direct. We need a solution that doesn't reward Putin's aggression. Subscribe to our channel for more exclusive updates on this developing situation. Meanwhile, in Moscow, the Russian leader maintained his impassive stance. In a meeting with his Security Council, his orders were clear. Continue with intensified operations. The Americans will eventually give in. Your support through likes and shares helps us expose these harmful strategies. U.S. military intelligence analysts had identified a concerning pattern. Putin was deliberately sacrificing his own soldiers to pressure for diplomatic concessions. It was a brutal tactic, but potentially effective against an adversary who valued human life. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay informed about these evolving tactics. The path to peace goes through the economic strangulation of Putin's regime, argued Senator Graham in a closed-door meeting. Expanded sanctions are our most powerful lever. If you find these strategic insights valuable, please like this video and consider sharing it with others. General Keane agreed. It's time to slap it hard on Putin. Yes, that will affect the relationship, but we're making no progress maintaining this relationship at the expense of the people on that battlefield. Subscribe now for more expert analysis on this critical conflict. The uncomfortable truth began to crystallize. Russia was not negotiating in good faith. Every conversation about peace was just a smokescreen to gain time and strengthen military positions. China, meanwhile, continued to silently finance the Russian war machine, betting on a weakening of American influence. Share your thoughts in the comments section and help us reach a wider audience with this analysis. The decision that presented itself was clear, although painful. Apply expanded sanctions against Russian oil, gas, and uranium industries, simultaneously imposing secondary sanctions against Chinese entities supporting the Russian war effort. If you value this strategic clarity, please support our channel by subscribing and sharing this video. It's like a difficult medical treatment, explained General Keane. Sometimes, the immediate cure is painful, but necessary to avoid much greater suffering in the future. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more expert military analysis. As the national security team prepared the final options for the president, a truth crystallized with frightening clarity. True peace would not come from diplomatic talks with an adversary who saw the blood of his own citizens as currency. It would come only from a position of strength that made the continuation of the war unsustainable. Please share this video to help others understand what's really at stake in this conflict. President Trump, known for his unpredictability and determination, faced perhaps the most crucial decision of his administration. His sincere determination to end the bloodbath now needed to be channeled not just into negotiations, but into unprecedented economic pressure that would finally force Putin to reconsider his bloody strategy. Subscribe now to follow how this critical situation develops in the coming weeks. The story was still being written, but one thing was certain. The true reason behind Putin's rejection of the ceasefire had been exposed, and with it, the path to lasting peace became simultaneously clearer and more challenging. If you found this analysis valuable, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with others who need to understand these complex geopolitical dynamics. Your support helps us continue providing this crucial information.